Jake the Snake Roberts, born Aurelian Smith Jr. on May 30th, 1955, in Gainesville, Texas, is one of the most influential and charismatic professional wrestlers in the history of the sport. Growing up in a family with a strong wrestling background, Jake's father, Grizzly Smith, was a well-known wrestler, and his mother was a part of a wrestling family as well. His early exposure to the world of wrestling laid the foundation for his future in the business. Jake initially ventured into wrestling in the late 1970s, debuting in various territories across the United States. He trained under some of the best in the business, including Dory Funk Jr. and other veterans, learning the tricks of the trade. His initial time in the ring was spent in smaller promotions, but his talent quickly became apparent. His unique style of storytelling, combined with his in-ring prowess, made him stand out from the crowd. Jake made his mark in the National Wrestling Alliance, NWA, before eventually joining the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, in the early 1980s. It was here that he gained his iconic moniker, the Snake, due to his association with his pet python Damien. His in-ring persona was that of a calculating, cerebral villain who used mind games and psychological manipulation to get into the heads of his opponents. The Snake became a symbol of his character's ruthless cunning and unpredictability, often using Damien to intimidate or distract his foes. Jake's wrestling style was unique. Unlike the high flyers or powerhouses of the time, he relied on his psychological tactics and a methodical pace, making him a standout performer. His DDT finishing move, a simple yet devastating maneuver, became one of the most iconic moves in wrestling history. The DDT helped him secure countless victories, and it was often a match-ender that left audiences in awe. Throughout his career, Jake feuded with some of the biggest names in wrestling, including Randy Macho Man Savage, The Undertaker, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. One of his most memorable feuds was with the legendary Macho Man Randy Savage, where Jake's psychological warfare reached its peak. He famously taunted Savage by bringing his snake Damien into the mix, leading to some of the most memorable moments in WWE history. The feud, along with Jake's ability to tell stories through his promos and actions, solidified him as one of the best heels in the business. Despite his success in the ring, Jake's personal life was filled with turmoil. He struggled with various personal demons, including substance abuse, which affected both his career and his personal life. His battles with addiction became widely known, and he was open about the difficulties he faced. These struggles led to several periods of time away from the wrestling industry. However, his career was not defined solely by his personal challenges. He also became known for his resilience, managing to return to wrestling on several occasions despite his battles with addiction. In the 1990s, Jake's career began to slow down due to his personal issues. He had stints in both the WWF and World Championship Wrestling, WCW, but never fully regained the momentum he had in the 1980s and early 1990s. He also worked in various independent promotions, but by this point, his reputation as one of the most gifted minds in wrestling had already been firmly established. Jake's career took a significant turn in the mid-2000s when he entered the world of personal recovery. He was featured in the 2012 documentary The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, which chronicled his attempt to overcome his addiction and rebuild his life. This documentary was a pivotal moment in Jake's life, as it showcased his struggles, but also his determination to reclaim his life and career. Through the guidance of former wrestler Diamond Dallas Page, Jake managed to clean up his life and regain control of his health, both physically and mentally. His comeback was nothing short of inspiring, and he became a symbol of hope for others in the industry who struggled with similar demons. Jake's influence on the wrestling world is undeniable. His contributions to the craft, particularly his ability to build intense, character-driven storylines, have influenced generations of wrestlers who followed him. The psychological depth and complexity he brought to his persona and matches were groundbreaking, and many modern wrestlers cite him as a significant influence. Throughout his career, Jake was known for his incredible promo skills. His ability to captivate an audience with his voice alone was legendary, often speaking in a slow, deliberate manner that conveyed both menace and intrigue. His speeches were full of subtlety, and he often used the microphone as a weapon, weaving intricate stories and mind games with his words. These skills helped elevate the art of wrestling promos to new heights and left an indelible mark on the industry. Jake the Snake Roberts is not just remembered for his in-ring prowess, but also for the deep, multifaceted character he created. He is seen as one of the most charismatic and innovative figures in the world of professional wrestling, and his legacy continues to inspire both fans and wrestlers alike. Despite his personal struggles, his impact on the sport remains immeasurable, and he will forever be remembered as one of the all-time greats in the history of wrestling. Jake the Snake Roberts' influence on the world of professional wrestling continues to resonate to this day. After his personal struggles, including his battles with addiction, Roberts became a mentor to younger wrestlers, particularly those in the WWE and other promotions. His story of overcoming adversity became a beacon of hope for many within the wrestling community, and his involvement with programs like DDP Yoga not only helped him physically recover, but also allowed him to give back to the industry that gave him so much. Jake's legacy extends beyond just his in-ring accomplishments. He helped revolutionize how wrestlers approach storytelling, with a focus on psychology and subtlety. He made fans care deeply about his rivalries, often by using his charisma and voice alone, and he understood the power of pacing in a match. His ability to weave long-running feuds with intricate plots elevated professional wrestling as a form of entertainment, and his work still serves as a template for wrestlers today. Even in his later years, Roberts has made sporadic returns to wrestling. In 2014, he appeared in WWE for the Hall of Fame ceremony, a moment that solidified his legacy in the industry. His induction into the WWE Hall of Fame was a fitting recognition of his impact on the business, acknowledging the profound influence he had on both the creative and physical sides of wrestling. Roberts' unique approach to being both a face and a heel in the ring helped him connect with fans on different levels. As a villain, his ability to manipulate the audience's emotions was unparalleled. He made the fans believe that he was always one step ahead of his opponents, using his mind rather than just physical strength to win. But when he was a hero, his journey of redemption was something that fans could relate to on a deeply personal level. Moreover, Jake's relationship with the Snake Damien went beyond just being a prop. It became a part of his identity, representing his character's dark and mysterious nature. It added an extra layer to his persona, making him stand out not only for his psychological depth, but also for the memorable imagery he created. The moments where he used the snake to terrorize his opponents or even bring an eerie presence to his matches are etched in the minds of fans and are among the most iconic images in wrestling history. Through it all, Jake Roberts remained committed to his craft, constantly evolving and adjusting his persona to fit the changing landscape of wrestling. Even as the industry transitioned into new eras, his contributions remained timeless. While he may have faced personal demons, his artistry in the ring and his ability to tell compelling stories are what ultimately defined him as a legend. Today, Jake the Snake Roberts is widely regarded as one of the greatest and most influential figures in the history of professional wrestling. His combination of in-ring ability, charisma, storytelling, and psychological depth has earned him a lasting place in the annals of the sport. Though his journey was fraught with challenges, his resilience and undeniable talent helped him carve out a place in history that will forever be remembered. Through both his triumphs and struggles, Jake Roberts has proven that the art of wrestling is not just about physicality, but about heart, mind, and the ability to connect with an audience on a deeply emotional level. Jake the Snake Roberts' story continues to inspire not only those within the wrestling industry, but also fans from all walks of life. His journey has become one of redemption, perseverance, and ultimately a testament to the power of reinvention. Following his recovery, Roberts has made a point of staying active in the wrestling community, often making guest appearances at conventions, fan events, and wrestling shows. His presence at these events is always welcomed, as fans still recognize the indelible impact he had on the sport and continue to show their admiration for the legend. In addition to his public appearances, Roberts has also been involved in speaking engagements and sharing his story with a wider audience. He has written books, including his autobiography, Jake the Snake, The Memoirs of Jake the Snake Roberts, in which he opens up about his life in and out of the ring, his struggles with addiction, and his path to recovery. This book, like his appearances in the documentary The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, help fans understand the complexities of his life beyond what they saw on television. It provided insight into his psyche and revealed the vulnerabilities of a man who, for years, had been one of wrestling's most complex and compelling characters. Even in his later years, Roberts remained engaged in wrestling in a variety of capacities. He made sporadic appearances in WWE, including a notable segment on Raw in 2014, where he was part of a storyline that also involved former WWE champion Daniel Bryan. These appearances not only reminded fans of his past glory, but also showcased that Jake had not lost his knack for captivating audiences, even in brief moments on screen. Outside of WWE, Roberts also worked in the independent wrestling circuit, contributing his knowledge and experience to younger talents. His role as a mentor to up-and-coming wrestlers helped solidify his reputation as someone who not only influenced the past, but actively worked to shape the future of the industry. His seminars, coaching, and overall involvement in wrestling's developmental process made him an invaluable asset to the wrestling world. In recognition of his legendary career, Roberts was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2014. This induction was a long-overdue honor for a man whose contributions to professional wrestling cannot be overstated. In his acceptance speech, he reflected on his career, acknowledging both the highs and lows, and expressed his gratitude for the fans who supported him throughout the years. It was a moment that encapsulated his career, part victory, part redemption, and part reflection on a lifetime in a business that has given him both joy and pain. Despite everything Jake Roberts has faced, he remains a beloved figure in the world of professional wrestling. His impact goes beyond his matches or even his famous feuds. It's the way he connected with fans on a personal level, often transcending the traditional character archetypes of the wrestling world. His ability to draw in audiences with his sincerity, vulnerability, and storytelling is what has made him such a unique and lasting figure in the sport. His legacy as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time remains intact. Jake the Snake Roberts revolutionized the wrestling world in ways that go beyond what is often recognized at first glance. He taught a generation of wrestlers that in-ring ability wasn't just about athleticism. It was about connecting with the audience, creating memorable characters, and telling compelling stories. His style, his mind games, and his mastery of psychology are all hallmarks of his career that have influenced countless wrestlers who came after him. Jake's story continues to be a powerful example of the resilience of the human spirit. From his highs in the wrestling ring to his struggles outside it, he has been a symbol of strength and redemption, teaching lessons not only about wrestling but also about life. Even as he enters his later years, his place in the pantheon of wrestling greats is assured, and his influence will continue to be felt for years to come. Through it all, Jake the Snake Roberts has proven that even the most complex and troubled figures can leave behind a legacy that transcends their challenges.